In life these days with social media, we tend to get outraged a lot. Oh my God, there's so many bad things happening, whether it's in politics, whether it's in sports, we're so outraged. And we have to go on the internet and we have to talk about it that, oh my God, this is the worst thing that ever happened. Where in reality, there's almost nothing in life to get completely outraged a lot. We can't control the outcomes. Let's live our lives. Good things happen to good people when you don't get in other people's business. And I'll leave it at that. The fact that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer is not an outrage. In my opinion, what's more of an outrage, if you want to call it that, it's not really an outrage, it's just that it should not be the case. Is that players and coaches, for that matter, have to wait 5 years in sports to get nominated for the Hall of Fame. I just think that's wrong, and I felt this way, especially ever since the passing of the late great Kobe Bryant due to that horrific helicopter crash in January of 2020. This past week was the 6 year anniversary of that crash. And after that, I thought it's a shame that Kobe Bryant in 2021 was set to become a basketball Hall of Famer. And the NBA and, obviously basketball made him wait 5 years because that's the protocol. If a guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer, he shouldn't even have to wait. I've said this about Tom Brady. I think you could have did it WWE style, where, you know, the guy is a Hall of Famer, but he's still playing. I mean, we all know he's a Hall of Famer. Philip Rivers now, because he came out of retirement, has to wait another 5 years to get in the Hall of Fame, and we don't even know if Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. That to me is just so wrong. Is Bill Belichick an undisputed Hall of Famer? Yes. Did he cheat? Spygate? Yes. Deflategate? I still think that's BS, but we know they tried Spygate again a couple years later when the Bengals found them taping. And the reason why we know that there is evidence against Spygate is because New England lost a first round draft pick because of it. And Eric Mangini called Bill Belichick saying, if you do not stop taping us, this was back when Belichick, or Mangini, who was an assistant with Belichick, obviously in New England, was the head coach of the Jets, said, hey, if you don't stop taping us, Bill, I'm going to report you. And he did. And boom, there it was. There is no denying that Bill Belichick, who people forget, I think sometimes, especially the younger generation, he was the defensive coordinator with Bill Parcells of the New York Giants, which is why Belichick has such affiliation for the Giants when Lawrence Taylor was playing. We all know Bill Belichick believes Lawrence Taylor, not Tom Brady, may be the greatest football player to ever live, which is why Bill Belichick is a defensive minded head coach and not an offensive head coach. But despite what you think about Belichick's head coaching record without Tom Brady, despite what you think about what Belichick's done in North Carolina, which by the way should have no reputable conversation on what he did on the NFL Hall of Fame because the NFL does it right. It's separate than the College Football Hall of Fame. I think the NBA should have an NBA Hall of Fame and then a College Basketball Hall of Fame and then a WNBA Hall of Fame, not a Basketball Hall of Fame. But that's not the here nor there. Listen, Bill Belichick, he's won 8 Super Bowls, as I already mentioned. Two as a defensive coordinator, six as a head coach. I don't give a rip what he did and did not do against Tom Brady. All great coaches. Andy Reid never won a Super Bowl. Andy Reid may not be considered a Hall of Fame head coach if he did not get Patrick Mahomes. You need a superstar quarterback and you need a superstar level head coach, I believe, to win in the NFL. And Belichick and Brady together, they were the perfect match, just like it seems like Mike Vrabel and Drake May are now the modern day Belichick and Brady for the same franchise. I'm not saying that they're going to go on to win 6 Super Bowls together, but the personality and the way the quarterback acts and the way the coach acts is the same as what Belichick and Brady did. We know Belichick's mind as a defensive mind is the greatest defensive mind in the history of football, whether that's pro, college, or high school. And to me, that is undisputable. And yes, the Patriots, in my opinion, I know they had one length of time from 2001 to 2019, And they did make the Super Bowl in 2007. They lost that. They did make the Super Bowl in 2011. They lost that. I think of the dynasty sort of in two stages. The first stage was 2001 to 2004 when they won 3 out of 4. The next stage would be then 2014 to 2019 when they won Super Bowl 50, uh, when they won Super Bowl 49, Super Bowl 51, and Super Bowl 53, and they were also in Super Bowl 52. So from 49, 51, 52, 53, 4 out of those 5 previous Super Bowls involved New England, and the other one, obviously, they made the AFC Championship game, lost to Denver. Um, and even for 48 and 47, made the AFC Championship game and lost. And 46, they made the Super Bowl and lost. So you could really look at it like the start of Super Bowl 46 to Super Bowl 53. That 7 year run was even more impressive than the first run they had. But that second run was mostly all because Tom Brady was becoming the greatest quarterback of all time. That first run, the 2001 to 2004, when they won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, was a Bill Belichick defensive minded, tough nosed led team where Tom Brady was a 14-point underdog in that first Super Bowl against the greatest show on turf, St. Louis Rams. So don't say that, Bill Belichick doesn't get any credit. I always said I give 50% of the credit to Belichick and I give 50% of the credit to Brady, though obviously Brady winning the Tampa obviously showed in his later years that Brady could win without Belichick. I get it, but I don't think Tom Brady is the player he is today without Bill Belichick. All that being said, I did not make this part of the podcast today about the New England Patriots dynasty. I made it about Bill Belichick's Hall of Fame case. And the best thing we got out of this is Jimmy Johnson screaming, ranting, and yelling, "Oh my God, I was Bill Belichick, not a first ballot Hall of Famer." Because some voters felt like Bill Belichick cheated and he should get a slap on the wrist and sit out a year. And to me, there was no problem about that. We're all not saying Bill Belichick is not a Hall of Famer. If Bill Belichick is not a Hall of Famer, then nobody is a Hall of Famer. And let's face it, the Hall of Fame now has turned into a participation trophy, and even jersey retirements, I feel like to this point, have become a participation trophy. And hey, the Hall of Very Good. I think the one thing about the NFL Hall of Fame that's still very sacred is the NFL goes through this process because they want the very best. They want your resume to be unprecedented. I know players and coaches probably really do care about being a first ballot Hall of Famer, but guess what? We as the media, we as fans, we can call you a first ballot, but when you're in the Hall of Fame, we don't say, "Oh, that's a first ballot Hall of Famer." We just say it's a Hall of Famer. So the outrage to me is unwarranted. It's just because people want to get outraged, they want to get mad about something because they want to get clicks on the internet. This is really, I mean, yes, is it a story? It's only a story because the media made it a story because, oh my God, I was Bill Belichick, not first round Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick is a Hall of Fame. And if you don't think that, then you got some problems. But if you are outraged and angry and upset, and oh my God, the world is so wrong because Bill Belichick's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then you have more issues with your life. Then go get another hobby. Stop caring so much about first ballot Hall of Fame. Because in my opinion, I think what the NFL should do is this. Next year, Rob Gronkowski is eligible for the Hall of Fame. I don't think Rob should get in first ballot. Why do I say that? Because the year after that, Tom Brady is eligible. And I think you should put Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Bill Belichick, and Adam Vinatieri and Vince Wilfork and some of the other Patriots players in as one. And I think the 2028 NFL Hall of Fame class should be a celebration of the greatest dynasty of all time. And I think it would only be poetic if Brady and Belichick went in the same year, and you can make it a year where you are celebrating the greatest, longest success in the history of the NFL going into Super Bowl 62, which would be the New England Patriots full dynasty from 2001 to 2019. Shout out to Nick Wright from First Things First Fox Sports who came up with that idea. I thought it was a great idea, and I am stealing it now because I think that's what the NFL should do. And no, the fact that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, I'm not losing sleep over it like Jimmy Johnson. I'm sorry. Like that clip from the Brand's World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brand's World podcast right here on YouTube.